Alright, there we go, our first non-looting bag related combat level.
Hey, welcome back to the Bond Economy, the old school RuneScape Ultimate Ironman account where I only play using an in-game currency called old school bonds. I wasn't satisfied with the last video's progress. The audio was really scuffed, which I expected. But the end product didn't come out correctly. So I think instead of going through and making my scuffed tapes, I'm just going to go ahead and reconvene and just edit everything again, because it just doesn't seem worth it with the level of quality I had in the previous content. So here I am over at Isles and Jaminua, and this is an excellent spot to get the pestle and mortar. And as you can see from the previous episode, I was grabbing some unicorn horns for Herblore. And overall, it's just really decent experience early game. I didn't really record this early on, but I did rush Herblore super early into the account. Usually you would do that through questing, but for some reason I decided to use the Verf method, which UIM Karambwan shout out. So you can see I have a decent Herblore level already, and it's kind of hard to train early on, especially for Ironman. So the biggest hurdle I had to overcome was basically getting the level for Ranars, so I could obtain them from Wintertoad. And yeah, so I did like 30 hours of... I don't even remember their name. I should really remember this because I was there so long. I did 30 hours of Brooded Victims, and it was not fun. But yeah, here I have some anti-poisons, and I mean, you use these for the method. There are easier ways to obtain Herblore experience, but I wouldn't say it's nearly as fast as this method. As fast as 30 hours can be. Yeah, so I mean, if you want Herblore XP really quickly, I think I spent around 100k on this. So it is kind of expensive early game, but at the same time, I mean, if you can tank a few 8 hits, then yeah, you can just go ahead and use poison or anti-poison on them. It poisons them, so that's why I thought it was poison. So yeah, at this point I just decided I was going to skip Taibwo Wanai Trio. I think I'm just getting as far as I possibly can in the quest's progress, aside from, you know, doing the actual quest itself. It is pretty useful to have completed, but it's not really useful, at least this early on, so I figured I was just going to train my cooking and fishing passively, and I mean, I have the materials for it, and I think it's always a good opportunity to raise a cat at barbarian fishing. So at this point I decided I was going to train my range, basically just the brute force method. And I was just going to go ahead and get a few upgrades because levels 1 through 15 are just super fast. Yeah, early game range is just kind of awful. Even with iron arrows, you're going to be hitting almost next to nothing. So there's a few decent spots. Whenever I first started the game back in, I want to say 2005, the premier range training spot was Ogres over near Castle Wars. And that's still a decent training method nowadays, actually. But you'd probably want a cannon if you're going to go over there. And you can see I have some cannonballs in my inventory as well. But that's not my priority at the moment. So I think this is about as far as I could get in the quest. Yeah. At my combat level, this was quite a challenge, but I decided I was going to go ahead and try to range a Joker. Pull it over the safe spot. Right over here by the entrance to this cave, you can safe spot them. But it's really not worth it. I mean, at one ranged, it's just not going to hit against them. They're level 59 combat. I don't know their defensive stance, but suffice it to say, you're going to see me not using range in a second. Yeah, so as my past self is saying here, I'm just going to go ahead and use my sword on them and prey flick. Yep, here I am trying to safe spot, and it's just garbage. I don't even think I hit a single bronze arrow shot on these guys. And I mean, if you have protect from melee super early in the game, you're going to benefit way more if you have those melee stats anyway. Yeah, even with Eagle Eye, I'm barely even hitting a 1. Bronze arrows and plain short bow are not worth it. Yeah, it wasn't so bad switching back to the adamant sword. It's a pretty decent weapon, especially after getting waterfall quest done. I mean, it's not incredibly accurate, but it's going to be one of the best in slot weapons you can get this early on into an account, especially for Ironman. It's a really cheap, affordable weapon, and it'll do the damage. It's fast and accurate. If you want to take on stronger enemies with higher stab or slash defense, then you probably want to go with a longsword. But the short sword is just very versatile for most forms of combat. This was really cheeky. I used super heat on the choker bones. 10 out of 10 content right there. Yep, so there's the pasty joker bones. And I actually made them correctly the first try here, but you'll see, like, way later in my account progress, I tried to make them again, and I made them completely incorrectly. I honestly don't know how I didn't turn these in, but yeah, those joker bones in the inventory are not going towards the quest. I don't know where they went. So here I was trying to do a little more range DPS on the monkeys outside of Brimhaven, and as you can see, even against 1 defense mobs, I'm getting like 1k an hour right here, so it's not worth it. And yeah, they're healing up, so I think I was trying to get a monkey corpse at the same time there, and it just wasn't working out for me. So I just decided I'm going to train range somewhere else. It's just not worth my time in the middle of Taibo One-Eye Trio. And frankly, this quest is kind of frustrating for Ironman. If you burn the Karambwan, you gotta get 65 fishing. Nobody wants to do that early on. You'll have to forgive me for the excessive clicking. It gets better on later episodes, I promise. So now that I've got the monkey corpse, I think you're supposed to take this over to one of the brothers. But first you have to get it skinned so that you have the... I believe it's just the monkey skin, and then you wrap it in seaweed. It's a really weird recipe. I mean, the dude wants burnt bones too, so yeah, this quest is whack. So at this point I figured I was just going to buy some bronze bars, and I'm being a forehead. I'm doing all the Verf methods for some reason. But it is decent smithing XP super early to make bronze knives, and you know, it's just easy ammunition. Alright, so here's the part of the quest where I talked to Labufu, and he's a pretty important NPC. He'll give you the Karambwan vessel if you lose it and you're still unfinished with the quest, so it's really useful if you want to go fishing often as an ultimate. And here's my favorite random showing up in the middle of a quest. Thanks a lot. But yeah, as you can see there, I got 2 Karambwan vessels. You want one for one of the brothers. They're having like a feud or something, and they don't know how to fish Karambwans. I don't know, it's whack. But you need to load it with a Karambwanji and just give it to him, and that'll progress the Karambwan fishing part of the quest. So here we go. I was gonna go ahead and try my luck at Vrock Range because it's a decent spot, but no, burn the Karambwan. So that was a sore spot, and I would say this is a pretty efficient area to train your range early game, especially if you just have bronze or iron arrows. This is going to get you a ton of arrows back while you're getting levels, and you can get skull pieces from the stronghold if you like teleporting here. Yeah, there's just tons of nice loot. You can get easy and medium clues from these guys. Minotaurs are super low defense, and yeah, there's a safe spot right here. And like I said, they drop arrows, so you can just keep training and training and training if you'd like. And there it is. Good fight account. 17 hit points. Oh no, I'm going to take 2 damage at Winter Toad now. But yep, there it is. My first easy clue from these guys. And I don't remember in particular what this was, but it's worth doing. Do your clues, fam. Alright, and here's Gertrude's cat. I guess I just decided to get it done in the middle of this clue. Yeah, raising a kitten takes a bit of time, so you'll see I have a bit of a fiasco with that in a short bit of time. But yeah, it's really good idea to get Gertrude's cat done early. Alright, and here's a easy clue. Which is absolute trash. Red firelighters and fire runes. Bank value is skyrocketing now. So I know what you're saying. What are you doing, bro? This is a free-to-play method, and you're not wrong, but this is a decent spot for at least getting up towards barbarian fishing. Or barbarian style fishing. You want at least the first 2, but I mean, if you want to start with just the first available fish from barbarian style fishing, by all means. It's decent XP. You can feed your cat with the fish that you cut up. Well, you have to feed the cat caviar. You can't feed them the raw leaping trout or salmon, but yeah, it's a passive agility XP and strength XP. The only reason I like this method a lot, even in pay-to-play, is that you can cook all of the fish you get right there and just drop it. But, you know, we do the real efficient hours played here, so I'm over at Barbarian-style fishing. I got the heavy rod, and I'm not doing the tick manipulation method, but I did want to try it. It is very good and very sweaty, so if you want some fast fishing experience for super cheap, just get yourself some swamp tar, pestle and mortar, and some guam, and there you go, you can sweaty fish. But yeah, there's my first cat, and I was just elated. I was so excited and stoked that I got a little black cat, because my first cat when I moved out on my own at 17 was a little black cat, so that was a good feeling. Kind of felt like a callback there. And yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just a wise idea to raise a cat while you're doing other grinds. Yeah, you're going to save yourself some time, and if you're crazy and want death runes, that's also a good way to get death runes. Sometimes I like to joke that I'm gonna build 25 menageries in my player-owned house and fill it with just endless cats. Crazy cat guy only Ultimate Ironman. Let's go. One thing that's really bugging me about these early clips is that I'm carrying around cannonballs for so long, and I'm not gonna spoil you, but cannoning is good, but I'm not gonna do it until way late game. So expect those cannonballs to disappear pretty soon. And yeah, now that I'm done with Winter Toad at 90 fire making, using up those noted pineapples is pretty decent food. I mean, at 20 HP, I only need 10 to get full health from 0, so... Yep, back to barbarian fishing, raising the cat. I got some clue bottles. Got the agility level here, which is really nice. Agility and strength come pretty slow here, but since I was low level, it was nice. And there we go, fully grown cat. And there's 60 fishing. Barbarian agility course, that's going to be a fun meme whenever I do the bark roll. And there's monkfish. It's a decent method for normal Ironmen because you can just bank them right there and they're super fast. For me, I'm probably not going to fish monkfish until maybe Zulra. And here we go, I'm going back over to Konar to pick up the Rune Spear from the Mount Krulm weapon shop. It's, I want to say 17,500 GP. And I wasn't totally sure at this point, but you definitely can do it. You do not have to complete Taibo Wanai Trio to poison your Karambwan Spear. So if you have Poison Karambwan, you can go ahead and grind it up with a pestle and mortar, and then just apply the paste to your spear. But at the time I did not know this, so I was taking a big risk. Didn't know if I was going to waste a bunch of money on Rune Spears or not. But yeah, the fact that this item is untradeable whenever it's Karambwan Poisoned makes it excellent for sub 20 Wilderness Slayer, because anybody that PKs you out in the wilderness will not get the item, you'll just retain it. And there it is, the Karambwan Spear, or the Rune Spear Karambwan Poisoned. So I still need to get some decent levels to get up to that, and I decided at this point I was going to do Fight Arena, because that is going to get you 40 attack if you've done Waterfall Quest, and then just, you know, tack that on, that's basically 40 attack. You need that for Rune Weaponry. If you didn't know that, well, you need 40 attack. My stats are looking mad decent at this point. I was just glad I was done with the Herblore grind. And I got hecka iron arrows from doing the maze random, so I was prepared for ranging. So I had a feeling I would be able to pull off safe spawning with just one of the basic early game bows and iron arrows, and I was severely wrong. So I resorted to prayer flicking 3 out of the 4 bosses of this quest, and I would definitely recommend that if you have really low stats early on, because they are very formidable and they hit pretty decently hard. I think Khazard's bouncer pet hits like 18s, so I barely had enough HP for that. But yeah, basically once you get Khazard to come out and fight you, that's when you can just leave the arena and the quest is complete. And there we go, 12,000 attack XP, and that brings me up to 39 attack. So I'm 1 level off of 40 attack and that Rune Spear. And there's 10 and 11 Slayer coming through, finishing up my first task I ever got. Obviously I did the museum for 9, so I mean the levels are just rocketing through really quick even on just one task. definitely wouldn't recommend doing Cristelia early on an ultimate, and I wouldn't recommend killing skeletons in the wilderness either. It's just not worth the risk. But this was like a super convenient spot for me. It was just close to everything that I'm usually buying. And like I said, it's not worth the risk hopping into the wilderness. So I decided to come down to Lower Edgeville and get the levels. Alright, so my roommates are being assholes, so I'm just going to let you have the rest of the footage with the old audio. Enjoy.
5 skills at once. That is going to be so beneficial for the account. Oh, it's so exciting. Let's finish off this task and get our first from Cristelia. Oh, the accuracy is going to be so good on this team. Nice. Alright, 13 Slayer, and in just a moment here, I know what you're going to say, UIM PK pure ruined. 1 defense could have made the account. Oh, not Chem Q. So here we go. Oh, come on. There we go, level 2 defense. Just 8 more until we can start 10 defense. Actually, 3 more levels until we can wear steel armor. But I don't think I'm going to be risking that in the wilderness. Alright, let's get a few more levels, and then, yeah. Alright, that's our first task completed on the account. And hopefully that'll be our last tutorial task for a while. At least I hope so. I mean, I don't mind if I have to go back to him to negate super dangerous tasks in the future. But let's see what we get from Cristelia, and then I'm going to head over to the monastery and get some prayer gear, because I've been flicking prayer a lot, and I don't really have very high defense levels at the moment, so it's just going to be beneficial for saving some prayer. Yes, I understand we can only kill these monsters in the wilderness, in that wilderness. 136 Raider Demons. Wow. That's actually a really good task for experience, and I don't really have to risk anything at all. I'm pretty sure if I die in level 40 wilderness, I'll keep my Rune Spear anyway, so that is just awesome. I tested it earlier, and I do indeed keep this even if I'm skulled and killed by a monster. So I think as long as I don't get PK'd, I might keep it. And even then, I think I still retain it. So yeah, that's exciting. I'm not going to be doing a lot of damage, but that is going to be a ton of Slayer experience. So let's go grab that prayer gear, which is actually not going to be too useful, because there's a limited prayer regeneration of demonic ruins, but it would be nice to unlock this area anyway. And let's see here. How do I get further into the monastery? And I think you need 37 prayer. I think you need protect from magic to be able to get into here. So it's just easy as that. And there's the monk robes. Awesome. Alright, and I'll see you after this task. Alright, we're here. Hopefully I don't die on this task, but fairly confident, even if I do, it'll be perfectly fine. I'm not really risking anything at all as is, but I believe that I will keep the spirit, even if I die. Alright. Oh, and I'm doing some good damage already. Excellent. In the first kill I get a looting bag. Amazing. Alright, that went pretty fast, so I expect I'm going to get a lot of Slayer experience here, and plenty of combat levels as well. Let's do this. Look at that sweet XP drop.
That is...
Alright, so this task has taken quite a while, but there it is, level 10 defense. I've already gained 4 combat levels so far, just going from 9 to 16 Slayer. That's pretty impressive. So yeah, I'm actually hitting a little more consistently, even though I haven't leveled up attack or strength. And I'm just turning on these 2 prayers in between a few kills. Obviously I'm regenerating prayer here into my runes. So this is an excellent task to get from Crystallia. This is going to rock out our Slayer XP a lot. Let's see, I think we'll be around 40 Slayer now. Just about. I'll have to check the math on that, but we'll be getting quite a lot of levels here. And yeah, I'm thinking I might drop our loot pile over to a mini or my pure account, just to make it so I'm not risking as much whenever I have to go out to the wilderness for these tasks. It's just kind of a hassle. It's a good idea to maybe leave 10 to 15 minutes before my death timer expires, so good thing I got the looting bag early this time. It's going to be a real chore for a deep wilderness task like this, especially if I get PK'd on the way back and lose another looting bag, or it takes too long getting the rats. So yeah, I'm thinking about it. It might be worth it just to drop everything except like the ranars, the rubies, just make a small death pile in the house, so I don't really have to worry about picking up 28 items, stuffing them in the bag, dying, etc. We'll see. Hopefully I can get quite a few levels though from this task, and I don't really have to worry about that. Alright, so it finally happened. I got PK'd. Not too upset about it, but now I'm going to go ahead and grab my loot pile, drop it all again, and then run back to the wilderness and see if my Rune Spears on the ground. Alright, so I got back to my death pile in the wilderness, and I don't see it. It's kind of weird. I'm not sure if it converted into a normal Rune Spear when I died, or what. But I'm going to have to try again and see if it's just because he's untradeable in 20 plus. I hope that's the case. I mean, if it disappears sub 20, that would be really crappy. I guess I'll just use this Steel 2H I picked up. And, yeah, I guess I'll get another one whenever I have a spare moment after this task. So yeah, it's kind of crappy, but oh well. I expected to be PK'd out here. This is like one of the most dangerous areas in the entire wilderness. Alright, so I got another looting bag, and I guess I'm just going to go back to Mount Karambwan, grab another Rune Spear, get some poison Karambwan, and I guess go back to Turin. And I'll just see if every time I go to Crystallia from now on, if I can just get a sub 20 over this task. So yeah, good luck me. As I'm about to make my way back, I get a genie lamp, so there's 17 Slayer. Nice. Alright, so I sorted out the inventory. I'm going to go ahead and cut all of my sapphires and emeralds, and then sell them off. And then I'm going to cut all my rubies and donate them to the museum, because if you donate, I think it's 250 of them, you get an unlimited dig site pendant in the house, so that'll come in handy way later on. And here's what the looting bag looks like. And then I'm just going to keep all of the needed food in my inventory just in case I need it. Yeah, most of this can be dropped once I go get my Karambwan Spear again, and hopefully I don't lose it sub 20 with this. So time to get some crafting XP. Alright, we got the level 4 crafting rubies. I'm just going to finish up this inventory, and then I'm going to go grab that second Rune Spear Karambwan Poisoned. Alright, so here we go. We're just going to use the rubies on character Heghalen? I thought it was Craighalen. Wow, okay. Maybe I have to talk to him first. That's so annoying. Okay, I think I have to get 50 kudos first. So I guess I'm just gonna drop all my stuff. Try to find a dig site pendant, and then give all these rubies to him. Okay, so I figured it out. I need to complete the dig site to donate my rubies. So, thankfully I'm not going to have to sell all these. They're way too valuable for the unlimited teleports to close to Fossil Island, basically. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this up, see if it's worth my time. And if it is, I'll just go ahead and do the dig site really quick. I remember it's kind of an annoying quest. If it doesn't require 2 items, I may as well knock it out of the way. And I figured I might as well complete Catcher as well for some free ranging levels. I love how every grind on this account goes from me clearing out inventory space and optimizing the account so that everything goes as smoothly as possible, and then I completely fill up my inventory again and I have to do a ton of more tasks. Well, I think after I go to Terrain, I should be able to get Catcher done, and then I'll have enough space in my inventory to be able to finish the dig site. And then hopefully whatever task he gets, I can range all the way up to 20, so I can get rid of the oak short bow. Here's the willow one. And, yeah, after that, hopefully we can get rid of these rubies at least. And then potentially the pure essence as well. There's a couple of quests, as well as the Enter the Abyss mini quest that I need pure essence for, so that'll come in handy, and then I'll go ahead and have another free inventory space after that. So let's go ahead and see what Turi has for us. Alright, crossing my fingers. Here we go, what is it going to be? 23 cow fight, that's really easy. Alright, let's get this done. This changes everything. So Crystalia keeps screwing me over, so I think I'm going to start going to Vonica until I get a decent Slayer level, and maybe try Crystalia in between tasks. Alright, it's time to get a makeover, and then I'm going to do Recruitment Drive. Huh, so that's what I look like as a girl. Didn't think I'd be still bald, but okay, let's go do Recruitment Drive. Alright, and that's Recruitment Drive complete. We now have Initiate Armor, and I had to alch the Rune Spears Karambwan Poisoned. I couldn't table it or anything, but that's okay. I'm gonna go get a Rune Scimitar now, and our armor is officially upgraded. Nice. Huh, I guess, changing back into a male gave me a clean shave, so now I'm completely bald. I don't look like a bot anymore. Alright, let's go get the looting bag and all of our stuff, and grab full initiate. So I got 30 defense, and I'm training Slayer, almost 30 Slayer, and I've just been collecting strength potions from the imports on this task. So, only 22 left, and we'll go back to Vonica. Also 50 So only 25 more combat levels until we can start going to one of my favorite Slayer masters, Konar. Oh, and I just wanted to mention before, I totally forgot until now, check this out. So you see my Hell Giants task. I killed Zulrah in a beta world, ignore that. 201 Zamorak warriors. I got 4 rune daggers, 6 adamant longswords, and no rune skin card. Wow. Alright, and that's 28 ranged. Now I can wield the Dorgashoon crossbow, which is going to be my best in slot ranging weapon for a very long time. So I'm going to go grab my next task, and then we're going to go get that. And there it is. Fortunately, I can't afford it, but I'll come back in just a few minutes. Because for now, I'll just buy a ton of bullets. Sell off my iron arrows. There it is.
It is a legend at work.
Even with full initiate, this is such great range bonus. Nice. Alright, so it's a little early. I'm 880 XP off, but I might as well do it now since I have something that's worth a bit of loot. So here it is, the goal I've been working for since I first made the account. High Elk. Oh, that feels great. And, just 815 XP away, and I can do that without boosting. Awesome. It's only taken me 2 bonds to do it. But I've been working on my stats, almost 1,000 total level. Now it's time to do my next task, which is, unfortunately, cave crawlers. So I'm going back to the Lumbridge Swamp and hating every second of it, but we'll get it done.